Welcome to the Elevated Trader Podcast. I am Dr. Kristin Kidgel.
And I am Tracy Ball. Join us every week as we journey into becoming better traders.
We believe becoming better traders involves elevating our skill, our mindset, and our health. In each episode, we will discuss the current book we are exploring, and we invite you to join us on this journey.
Are you ready to elevate your trading, mindset, and health to the next level? Let's do this. Hello. We are back with part 3 of Capital Without Borders by Brooke Harrington. Kristin, we are at the final stages of this book. This is the last part that we have to do, or that we're going to do. And I have to say that this book has been, I was kind of disappointed right off the bat, thinking, oh, what do I get myself into? But I'm actually really glad that I read it. And the reason being is because I've certainly learned a lot about something that I didn't know anything about. And I still have tons to learn, which I guess had I not even read it, I wouldn't even have been aware of some of the options that were there for us. So I think that, you and I both believe that everything happens for a reason. And I'm trying to believe that, maybe the reason we have this book fall into our lap is because that's the direction that our futures are heading.
Whoop, that'd be sweet.
Exactly. What are your thoughts so far?
Wow. Let me just jump off the comment you made in the beginning about, you know that you don't know. And there's a lot. And to even consider wrapping your head around money managers and their responsibilities of these highfalutin clients, I can't imagine the stress, honestly. And wow. The studies and who you're rubbing shoulders with. I mean, I honestly think to be in the echelon, in those top notches, you have to somehow know somebody to manage their money. And it's very interesting. I didn't know. What else did I not know? I didn't know that Jersey was like this haven. And it's a tiny little place up in the Northeast here in the United States. And I would have never thought in a million years that it was like a place similar to the like Virgin Islands. And so that took me down a whole nother thing of, was it like 2 years ago? I was down in the BVI's pretty far down, like past Tortola. And you've been there too. So about a year later you went, ironically. And I looked at a map and it's as if almost every island is owned by another country. So that's where these, shell companies, so to speak, and all these different managers, they live down there and they know the laws, and it's just mind-boggling the lengths that people have gone through to kind of not hide their money, but hide from penalties of having all that money and families and taxes and just hiding it that it's theirs. It's just, the book is a wealth of information. I mean, it's just so much. There is, for sure. And it's definitely got me thinking a lot about the politics around it all. I think that's one of the conversation pieces that I've been taking from it anyway. Things like, we talked a little bit about this in the last episode with the whole, is it a threat to the democratic process? And even in this last section here, they're talking a lot about how governments are kind of needing those individuals to come in. And so they're catering to them, but there's kind of a negative effect that's happening to the local population. And so there's this whole debate that's going on, and even wealth managers, there's been a shift in trying to lead their clients to more compliance in certain things. So I don't know if it's just a change in the tide temporarily or to shift the balance a little bit more, to become more balanced and less of a threat to democracy. Or if it's just a different way of thinking with the younger classes that's coming up, and some of the old way of thinking is dissipating, so things are changing that way, or what? I have no idea, but
Anyway, I just thought it was really intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. She's multiple times stood by the fact that these wealth managers are one of the biggest reasons of inequality of wealth.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a pretty bold statement. I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably don't like her after putting this book out there, because it did shed a light on a lot of things that we were just kind of like hearsay, rumored to give them that bad rap, so to speak, as a wealth manager. But
yeah, but again, I mean, the wealth managers are there. They're going to be doing the work that the clients are asking them to do. And you're going to have good ones and you're going to have ones that are shady. And that's in every business. Just like you're going to have wealthy individuals that want to be philanthropic and entrepreneurial and help, and they want to add to the communities, and they want to add to the governments, and they want to make life better for everybody. And then you've got others that are not as good, right? And so you get the, was it in this book where she mentioned that Warren Buffett is, he's a huge proponent for inheritance tax because he wants to get that money going back into the economy. And meanwhile, you've got other individuals that are extremely wealthy that want to keep as much inheritance tax away from that. They want to keep it out of the economy. So like I said, you've got this balance of both pros and cons. So I'm sure that there's individuals that use wealth managers that are looking at what Brooke Harrington's saying and going, yeah, good for you. And, right on, let's bring some respect back to the class. And then you've got others that are looking at it going, wait a minute, what are you doing revealing all our secrets? Because, now maybe I'm going to look bad. Right. And I don't know, I guess the ones that are feeling that way, I would think that those are the ones that are probably a little bit more shady and really don't have the values that you and I perhaps share. It's hard to say. I don't know. That's just a guess. And I don't know. I think the job is incredibly taxing. The job is incredibly, what you have to do is intense. It's intense.
And what you have to know.
Exactly.
But a trust between a foundation, between a corporation, and all the different laws and rules. And then you're talking international. This country versus that country, and this state versus that state, which, by the way, brings us kind of to another topic of these people with all this wealth are sometimes running the state that they're affiliated with. Yeah. And that's
the scary part.
Back to politics, right? Yeah. So again, it could be good, right? Or it could be not good. So things that we kind of knew probably, or maybe people just don't realize it or just don't know. But was it the most exciting book? No, but I think if I was really, all of a sudden I ran into all this wealth, like, how about this? How about when I run into all this wealth? This would be the book you probably want to have on your shelf for sure. And another thing is, I thought about this the other day, is that people that know they're going to get a trust, or know that they're going to have to grow up and be part of a foundation, like, they probably should read this just to get an overview of the history and as a global whole. Obviously, it's not like going to school. I don't think for a second neither one of us would want to read what they have to learn. But it does give you knowledge of what you're walking into.
Mm-hmm. Well, it brought something to my attention that I've been thinking about a little bit as well, and that's of my legacy and what I'm doing right now to build wealth and what that looks like for my kids and their futures. And I guess I had never thought about a trust until I listened to this book. And now,
that's good.
Now that I've listened to this book, I'm thinking, that almost makes more sense versus just giving them money, giving it to them when I die, and they do whatever they want with it. Because you do the best that you can to raise your children, but they may not have the same work ethic. They may not have the same drive. They may not even have the same ambitions that you do. And they may not even be along their personal development the way that you and I might be. And
Yeah, they
it
could
may
be
take
10.
yeah, and I mean, there's a possibility that they could end up blowing every single thing that I've earned for them before they have a chance to grow and really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So why not look at alternatives that could safeguard their future and put them in a position even though they don't necessarily know that they need it at this stage, right?
For sure.
So
Totally agree.
I've certainly got that on my mind right now, thinking about that and what are the options available, and also recognizing that, I mean, she mentioned it several times that a lot of the stuff that's available to the super wealthy is not available to individuals like yourself and I. We just don't have access to it. And so I'll have to do a little bit of research to find out what is available and what is doable for someone of my monetary value, I guess you could say, but definitely get you thinking. So, and that's the whole point, is to get you thinking that there are other alternatives and things that you need to think about, and you don't have to go with the status quo all the time. It can be something different. You just have to think outside the box, right?
Yep. And for sure, like, this book isn't that old, but one of the things at the very end, she, it's brought up, and actually she quoted a couple of people that everything is evolving and changing. They're trying to put more clamps and rules and regulations and stuff, which will evolve into more sneaky, I don't want to say sneaky, but more ways to avoid certain things. And, what we know today will definitely change in a decade.
Oh, for sure.
Do your research.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than virus protection. I think, you can bring out new virus protection and there's always going to be somebody out there that's trying to break it. And just like wealth management, there's always going to be people that are trying to figure out ways and loopholes to avoid taxes. And that's really what that comes down to, right? Or to save money, or to keep as much money as they possibly can. There's always going to be ways. And so I think that leads to innovation. I think that leads to better rules. I think that leads to smarter planning. I think it leads to changes in the way we do things, because, if enough individuals are trying to buck the system, if you want to say, or avoid paying taxes or whatever, some of those systems that we're relying on that start to break down. And when those break down, it forces the individuals, forces governments, forces communities to come up with a solution. Like, what's the problem? Let's fix it. Instead of continuing to do the status quo. And so, I don't know. I think that things can get better, but there's always going to be people that are testing the limits, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So I keep butchering the name of this book. What is it again?
Capital Without Borders by Brooke Harrington.
Capital Without Borders. Yeah. I think I keep trying to switch the words in my head. And this, so everybody knows, this was the first time we did an Audible book. And we did it in 3-hour increments. Yes. So it's out there. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that being said, this book probably is better suited for an actual book. So just saying, I think we mentioned that in another episode as well, but make sure that if you are interested in this topic, I would highly recommend that you actually get the book and have it there, because there's charts and things that you can look through. Yeah. Right. For sure. Keep your focus better. Yeah.
We'd like to know what you guys think of it. I know the topic's a little different than what we've been doing, but hey, we knocked this one out of the park, and now it's on to the next one.
Absolutely. We'll see you in the next one.
Got it. Thank you for joining us today. For more information about the show, as well as our list of current reads, check us out at www.theelevatedtrader.com.
Remember to subscribe and share if you found value in today's episode. See you next week.